All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Unwrapped Sports Selection Sunday special. We have a whole panel here ready to talk some college hoops with you. We got Michael, we got Philip, we got Amber, and we got Ethan. And of course, I'm Ben Hoyt, your host for tonight's Selection Sunday special. Just before we get started, we got to pay the bills. Unwrapped Sports, our official partner for this show. Check out their social media. Check out their shop at Teespring. The link is in the bio on their Twitter. And, of course, check out their Patreon, which is $1 to become a fan of the network, $5 to have an exclusive Discord chat with fans across the country, and a bunch of other different perks with the $5 payment and the $10 payment, the VIP payment. You'll get a signed jersey giveaway every month. You'll automatically be included in that giveaway. And, of course, all the other perks that you get with the $5 reward system. So I want to introduce each of our panelists today. We got Philip. Philip, what do you do for the Unwrapped Sports Network?
Well, yeah, I just recently joined. I'm the host of NFL Deep Dive, and my co-host is actually Ethan to my right. So, yeah. And with March Madness coming along, I will do some college basketball content.
All right. On his right, of course, we got Ethan Carboni of the Unwrapped Sports Network. We do a podcast together, and he does a podcast with Philip. But, yeah, Ethan, take it away.
Oh, yeah. I do NFL Deep Dive with Philip, and I also do Creating Madness with Ben. Follow both on our socials, Creating Madness 1 on Twitter. Then follow all of us.
All right. To my bottom left, we got Michael Lawson, one of the more prominent members in the network. Michael, how are you?
Well, thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on here with this wonderful panel. I like to think that I make this panel look a lot prettier, but thank you. Now, check me out on Thursday. I see Amber. She's upset with that comment. But check me out Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. I co-host a Backstop Banter every Thursday. We're live. We got actually a great show coming out this coming Thursday. And also, I've been helping Amber out quite a bit, and I'll just stop with that and let her go ahead and introduce her own shows here.
Amber, also one of the more active and prominent members. Amber, take it away.
I am Amber. You can find me on Twitter at simplyme_AV. All the shows and things I do are in the bio. See, Michael, I saved some time.
There you go. All of her shows that she has.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into it. Let's go over the bracket. So we just watched the selection show just a minute ago, and I want to go over the bracket for a minute. Of course, Gonzaga playing a first four matchup. You got Oklahoma, Missouri, Creighton, UC Santa Barbara, Virginia, Ohio, USC also a first four matchup, Kansas, Eastern Washington, Oregon, VCU, Iowa, Grand Canyon. What do you think of the West?
I think that Gonzaga has a relatively easy path to the Sweet 16.
As a number one overall seed, I think they set the brackets up that way so that you do have the great path. I want to see in every bracket, I think I would, not bet my house on it, but the 12-5 matchups, I know we're going to get into every bracket. The 12-5 matchups are very interesting when you look at them across the board. So I want to see if we can get some 12-5 upsets. The 8 and 9s are usually very close matchup wise. The 4s and the 13s are interesting too, but the West bracket, it just looks like Gonzaga is just going to, I don't want to say walk through that, but you could have some upsets because Gonzaga is going to play a team that they haven't seen before, a style they haven't seen before. But I expect some upsets in the first round. I don't think it will be as easy as a cakewalk as people think it will be for Gonzaga. They did struggle with BYU this season, so I want to see some upsets in that bracket. I don't necessarily say I want to see Gonzaga upset, but I want to see if a team can match Gonzaga's scoring output, which will be very difficult. But there's some teams out there that can do it.
Yeah, Philip, what do you think of the West side of the bracket, Philip?
If I'm Virginia, I should be worried. Ohio, they could be a sneaky team, especially with Jason Preston. Phenomenal player. I mean, he shoots 53% from the field. All-around guy, averages 6.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists. So if I'm Virginia, I am on potential upset watch. Also, I find Oklahoma, Missouri versus Missouri very intriguing. From a statistical perspective, these teams are really dead even. So it could come down to the end.
I'm just curious. What do you guys think
on that? Go ahead, Ethan.
All right. I was going to say, what do you guys think about the Iowa-Grand Canyon matchup? Typically, there aren't too many 15-2 upsets, but I'm really thinking Grand Canyon has a great chance at upsetting. They always have an amazing team.
I'll probably be the first to say, I know we're kind of all just giving a little hot takes on there more or less, but I don't think Gonzaga makes it that far. I might be the only one. I do think their road is easy, but how can we really trust Gonzaga? I mean, they go undefeated all year, every year, but then they get tournament time and they blow it, you know? So I have no faith in them. If I were to be like gambling on this, I'd be ready for an upset. And Missouri, I mean, SEC team, I hope every team is an upset this year because Kentucky's not in this. This is like untreaded waters for me. I don't know what to do here, but so I might make a bracket where whoever is the higher number, not 1, 2, or 3, the higher 16, the 15, the 14, they're all winning every game. I'm just making this upset city bracket.
Definitely. And let's move on to a different part of the bracket. Let's go to the Michigan part of the bracket. Michigan, of course, also playing a first four team. Then we got LSU at the 8, St. Bonaventure at the 9. Of course, they won the Atlantic 10 title. Colorado, Georgetown, the surprising team out of the Big East. Patrick Ewing getting that NCAA tournament bid for his team. Coaching-wise, Florida State, UNC Greensboro, 4-13. BYU, another first four. Then Texas, Abilene Christian, winner of the Southland. UConn, Maryland. UConn has not been in the tournament in a while, so that's nice to see them back. And of course, the SEC runner-up, Alabama, against the MAC winner Iona. Rick Pitino leading another team to the NCAA tournament. Let's take a look at the East part of the bracket. What do you like out of this part of the bracket?
First off, I'm going to correct you. Alabama did win the SEC. You said that they were the runner-up. But I think Michigan gets upset by the Sweet 16. LSU, St. Bonaventure are two amazing teams, and Colorado, I think, will pull themselves out of their slump after losing to Oregon State and beat Georgetown and possibly go all the way in beating Michigan.
I look at that Florida State UNC Greensboro matchup. Florida State, as of recently, has been, horrendous in the turnover department, and they can't do that against UNC Greensboro, a very well-coached team, and they have a phenomenal player by the name of Isaiah Miller who can really take over the game. If you give up too many turnovers, you can just see Isaiah Miller on the other side of the court dominating, and a potential upset could come.
Now, excuse me, there were some teams that people didn't think should have been in. Utah State is one. I know Hugh just said this. It's interesting to see the West bracket and how it's going to shake out. Now, when it comes to these brackets these days, because everything's being played in Indy, there's no home court per se, I guess you can say, because usually Gonzaga would play all their games out west to start off. Will that affect the bracket, and will that affect these players? And also, who do you guys like in this bottom half of the bracket, upset-wise?
Michigan State over BYU, for sure. I don't think that the Cougars can hang with Michigan State. They've been on a roll. They are going to take over, and I can see them in the Final Four even.
Ethan, you really trust consistent shooting from Michigan State?
No, but it's March, and I think it happened.
I mean, Ethan does have a point. These teams can get really hot in terms of March. But yeah, didn't Michigan State beat almost all the number one seeds this year? In fact, Ethan, correct me if I'm wrong. They
did not play Baylor. They did not play Gonzaga.
Yeah, but they did. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what, Ben? They had the most wins against AP top 5 teams this year.
That's what I was thinking of. Thank you,
Yeah.
Philip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want, before we move on, I want to take some of the first four matchups. So in the West, we got Norfolk State, Appalachian State. Who do you think is winning that matchup?
First off, I got to say it's Appalachia State, not Appalachia. Let me tell you.
That's just my accent, Michael.
I know, but living in the Appalachia Mountains here, I like them. They're an interesting team, and when it comes to playoff time, it's a lot of fun. You never know who's going to really get the hot hands here. I'm going to go with them just because it's my gut feeling on that game.
Yeah, Philip?
Yeah, I got to go with Michael. I'll be honest with you. These are two teams that I haven't really watched. Yeah, I'll go with Appalachian State.
Appalachian. Come on,
Appalachian.
guys.
Okay.
Put a little slang in it, and you're perfect.
Yeah, Amber, do you have a take on this game?
I haven't watched either team play. None of those teams I've watched play. So I can't give my take on that. I'll have to watch it during tournament time. I haven't watched any of those teams play. It's probably one of the few teams I haven't watched play in college basketball.
So. Appalachia State, they beat Michigan in football so many years ago.
I remember that.
I mean, it's really it.
Michael, I was really rooting for the Appalachian State Michigan game. I really was.
Good.
That's fair. I'm also going to go with Appalachian State on this matchup.
That's better.
Yeah, got myself a correction there. This one's interesting, and Ethan, I want to get your take on this because I know we just interviewed a commit for this game. Wichita State Drake, one of the teams that was questionable to get into the NCAA tournament. Ethan, do you think Drake can beat Wichita State?
No, not at all. They beat Loyola once. I don't think the fact that they couldn't beat them at least another time just really upsets me to the point where I don't think that they have any chance. Wichita State's one of the better teams in the Atlantic 10. And if they can't even beat the best team in their conference, I don't know how they could beat one of the best in the Atlantic 10.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Drake had a seriously hot start to the NCAA, and then when conference season sort of slowed that down. Phil, do you think Drake can really reignite that spark?
Yes, I do. And, Ethan, I think you're slightly disrespecting Loyola by saying, oh, how could Drake not beat Loyola twice? I think Loyola is actually one of the best teams in the country. They have a phenomenal defense. Wow. Yeah. Drake most certainly has a chance, but overall, I think Wichita State, like Ethan said, is the better team here.
Yeah, Michael?
I'll be honest with you. I would probably be like Amber in the last conversation of the 216 teams. It's just one that I haven't been able to catch up with much. Been more focused on baseball coming up now. I'd have to go with Wichita State here if I was picking anyone for the fact that we all know Wichita, but Drake has looked good at the beginning of the year or did look good at the beginning of the year. I do know that. It's just a matter of who's going to get hot and stay hot right now. So I'm going to say Wichita just because I know them. At least I'm being honest, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, Amber, I can. You take your take, maybe even a guess.
I'll go Wichita State as well. I've watched him play this season, actually.
Thank you.
I watched Drake play. Drake was a bubble team. A lot of people didn't think Drake was supposed to be in there. A lot of people wanted Louisville in there, but I'll go Wichita State. Won their. I don't understand how they won their conference, but Houston had the better. Okay, I don't understand that, but I think his games played. I was trying to figure it out. Houston won the conference tournament, of course, and Wichita State got upset in the semifinal. But
being a Kentucky fan, you never understand how these brackets go. Let me just tell you.
I don't understand how they won their conference outright. Like, I'm trying to figure that one out. But anyway, Houston won the conference tournament, so that's all that matters. But I like Wichita State.
Yeah, I also have Wichita State. I think this would be another one of the close first four games. We have a big first four game coming up, but I want to turn our attention to Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. Not the biggest marquee matchup, but I can even take guesses here. I'll start, and I'm going to say Mount St. Mary's is going to win their game and move on.
Sure.
Is everyone just going to be like a sure?
Well, I watched Texas Southern play, so I'm going to go with Texas Southern. And my cousin graduated from there, so.
Well, then I have to go with Texas Southern as well.
It's HBCU, so shout out to the HBCUs.
All right. Our last first four matchup before we move on is Michigan State, UCLA. I know Ethan got our take. I assume you want Michigan State to win. Yeah, I think you have that take.
Michigan State's going to win it. I don't want them to, but they will.
Yeah. Philip, do you have a different take than Ethan, or is it going to stay the same?
No, it's going to be Tom Izzo magic. They're going to heat up from three, I think, especially, and they'll pull through. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Michael and Amber?
I just want to know, what's the hate for Michigan State here?
Mm-hmm. That's
Well, I'm an Illini fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry?
I'm an Illini fan, and seeing as one of their players cheap shot at AO to give him his mask. Not a big fan of him.
Okay. Makes sense now.
Okay.
Makes sense now. Okay. Now we get it.
No, okay.
I'll go Tom Izzo. I'll go Michigan State. Just hoping that they can shoot the ball consistently enough. Defense is always there for Michigan State. It's the shooting that's been a little rocky this season, but I'll go Michigan State.
I want to go UCLA. I really do. But how can you go against Tom when it's tournament time? It's tournament Tom. There's a new one. But Izzo's just a great coach. And like Amber just said, I mean, it's a defensive-minded team. And when it's tournament time, your nerves are shot and you don't know what's going to go on. You can at least count on your defense to carry you. So I think experience with that, with Izzo as your coach, I think it's a great pick there.
Definitely. I also have Michigan State. Let's actually move to the Illinois part of the bracket just to get that out of the way. Philip and Ethan, I think we know what your takes are for Illinois Drexel is.
Yeah.
They're winning by 50. Bench players will be in by the second half.
Oh, wow.
We beat North Carolina A&T by like 70. We can beat Drexel by 50.
No, I think Drexel's a stronger team than you think, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Then we got Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Liberty, San Diego State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Morehead State. We have an interview with the Morehead State coach in less than 10 minutes, I believe.
Sure hope so. He's supposed to be here. I haven't heard. I've emailed a couple times. I haven't heard back from him. He may be watching, just coming in. I asked him if he'd come on about 5 minutes early. So fingers crossed everything works smooth here.
Yeah, he has a busy day, so we'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
But we're excited to have it nonetheless. Clemson and Rutgers, Houston and Cleveland State to round it out. Now before I move on to your guys' takes, I'm gonna go with Illinois Drexel here, just to discredit Ethan's point about winning by 50. I know Drexel was not the top team in the CAA, believe me, but I think Drexel's a stronger team than you think. I mean, I don't think that you're going to be winning that like a MEAC team, Ethan. I think you're going to be winning by a solid 20 points, and that's it.
A 20-point win, and that's it. Think about what you just said there.
That's a 20-point win. A solid 20-point, boys. No, watch out.
No, yeah, so I'm saying 20 points. You're going to beat them by a good bit, but by 50 is a little bit of an exaggeration, Ethan. But anyway,
later.
But anyway, what games do you like in this bracket?
You know what? I have a question for Ethan. So as the bracket was being revealed, he told me Liberty ain't losing. They're up against Oklahoma State. So that's my question for Ethan. What does he mean by Liberty ain't losing?
I am a Liberty fan ever since they upset Mississippi State a couple of years ago, and I won a $50 bet with my friend. So I'm going to be rooting for Liberty. I know Oklahoma State's going to probably win it with Cade Cunningham. They've been on a tear recently. But
I love how Ethan's line of thinking here is, I made money gambling on a Christian school college. Love it.
I'm Jewish. It works for me.
Liberty always, since I'm a 36-year-old man, actually I lied. I've added 2 years there for some reason. I'm 34, and it seems like Liberty's always in the tournament year in, year out, or every other year, and they actually make some noise in the tournament here. The offense that they usually have is 5 guys out, basically. They leave the back door cuts wide open on that. So they're usually a well-oiled vessel. I mean, I could see this, but I'd like to hear Amber on Oklahoma State on there? Because I know she'd probably, living down in Texas, she probably knows more about this team.
I live in Oklahoma, but
Did I say Texas? That's why I'm wearing an Oklahoma shirt. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I mean, it's the same state.
Please don't tell nobody. Please don't tell nobody from Texas that, because they will. Ooh, they will come for you. I'm just saying they'll come for you like Utah fans come in my DMs. But
there you go.
I like Oklahoma State because you have to have in the tournament. I feel like it's like the NBA. You have to have the best player on the floor, and Cade Cunningham's going to be the best player on the floor in a lot of these games. And he can take over a game. He almost brought them back against Texas in the Big 12 championship. He knows how to take over games. First half, he doesn't play as well sometimes, but second half, he heats up. How can Liberty stop Cade Cunningham? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Then the others from Oklahoma State have been playing well as well. So I like what that coach is doing down there in Oklahoma State and Stillwater. Go Pokes. I never thought I'd say that. But I'm cheering for them. And can you stop Cade Cunningham? And if you cannot stop Cade Cunningham, it's going to be a long day in the office for Liberty. But on the other hand, for Oklahoma State, you've never seen a team like Liberty before. So this could be an upset. I know they were talking about it when they were revealing the brackets, that this could be potential upset for Oklahoma State. I thought their seed was too low. I thought they should have been, too high. I thought they should have been lower. That makes sense. I thought they should have been a 3, maybe a 3. They got to the Big 12 championship. But I want to see if Liberty can stop Cade Cunningham. That's what I'm looking for, because that's basically what it's going to come down to.
Something that I've noticed in all the Oklahoma State games I've watched this year, any single time they get into foul trouble, they struggle, like most teams, but more so for them. The key will be getting the Boone the Boone brothers less than 3 fouls by 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Philip, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, Loyola Chicago versus Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a toss-up. That might be one of the best games of the first round. In Loyola, you've got the best defensive team based on statistics. And then Georgia Tech, you have the ACC winner. And they have a guard by the name of Jose Alvarado who just has a bunch of energy, and he just runs up and down the floor. So he could be the difference maker there. But I want to quickly go back to Illinois Drexel. I think Illinois wins the whole tournament, and I want to give a quick speech right here. They have one of the best bigs in the country in Kofi Coburn. They have probably the best point guard in the country in Ayo Dosunmu. They have lots of depth. You saw with Andre Curbelo. And then they have a special connection to each other. I think a lot of these teams sometimes don't have that connection, especially the bigger teams. It's sometimes just these kids playing towards the draft, and they're sometimes playing individualistically. But I think Illinois is a true team that is connected together. And you saw it with how energetic their bench was. So I think that carries a long way down.
Yeah, just reflecting on that Illinois Drexel game, I was actually legitimately excited for that game because now I get a Philly team to root for. Two Philly teams in the tournament, Villanova and Drexel, which one that I could not have predicted. Both Drexel men's and women's have made the tournament with a CAA sweep, first time that ever happened. Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech, I think is the marquee matchup in this bracket. But let's move on to the last part of the bracket before we have our interview with the coach, hopefully. We got Baylor Hartford, 116, America East winner Hartford. Surprising one. I thought it would have been Vermont or UMBC. North Carolina, Wisconsin. Villanova Winthrop. Remember, Colin Gillespie is out for Villanova. And Winthrop, a very hot team. Probably one of the top games that could be an upset. We got Purdue, North Texas. Texas Tech, Utah State. That causing controversy. With Louisville fans, of course, they thought Utah State should have been out. One of the big matchups in my mind in the tournament, Arkansas Colgate. Colgate being the second highest scoring team aside from Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look. I accidentally clicked there. Florida, Virginia Tech, and Ohio State, Oral Roberts. I want to talk about that Arkansas Colgate game for a sec. Arkansas, one of the highest powers in the SEC, no doubt. Colgate is such a high-scoring team, and Matt Langle, the coach for there, and Colgate have been dominating all year. You would think Arkansas would win this, but I think it's going to be a really close matchup between the teams if Colgate gets hot. Ethan, what do you think?
I got Arkansas winning this, but Colgate's the second highest scoring team in the entire country. So give me Arkansas by 5. Let's be a great game.
Yeah, how about Michael, Philip, or Amber?
Yeah, I'll chime in. Arkansas is a great team. SEC, Kentucky, again, I'm more familiar with them. SEC is a different breed when it comes to big men and defense and just how hard it is to play down there, down low, the physicality. I just don't see them matching up very well with this. I mean, yes, it's great choosing to score so many points, but if a team will lock you up, it's going to be hard to do that. So I think it'll be an interesting game if Arkansas, if their scouts figures out their game plan and really has some good knowledge of what's going on their offense. I think Arkansas actually will play quite well. I actually thought this might be a double-digit win.
Can I go upset here? Can I take Colgate?
No, you cannot.
I absolutely agree, Amber. Go ahead.
When you haven't, Michael, in the NCAA tournament, I tell people this all the time. When you have not seen a style of play before, it stumps you.
I agree.
It stumps you. You're like, oh, yeah, they can score a lot of points in that little bitty conference, their mid-major conference. And then you see them and they're putting up points like crazy. You're like, where'd this come from? We can score too, guys. So I'm going to take Colgate. I like the little guy in this matchup. I'm taking Colgate all the way. Let's go.
Oh, I got you. Oh, my bad. I was slow on that joke. That was a good one. I was like, what's she doing?
Okay. I'm taking Colgate in this game. Not all the way, but in this game all the way. Not
in this game.
But in this game.
I'm going to be honest. As an SEC fan,
I like scoring.
I don't really care because Kentucky's not in it. So if they all lose, it's fine. But
you're not going to cheer for anybody else?
I mean, I hope one of them wins it as long as it's not Alabama or Tennessee or Arkansas. Oh, wait, I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah, now, if it was,
there's Missouri.
You got Florida. You got Florida and Missouri. Yeah.
I will go with Missouri. That is the team of my SEC I will cheer for. But Arkansas is a good team. I don't think this would be an upset. But when it's March Madness, that's why we call it March Madness. When you don't know how a team really plays. I remember playing ball in high school and in college where you would have a different style defense coming at you and they just put the pressure up on top. Like I remember one guy, I ran point guard when I was like 300 pounds lighter than what I am now. And just bring it across the timeline, half court, you never had that pressure up on you and you could run your plays, you're comfortable. Well, there's a team once we played that actually picked us up 3 quarters and would always try to trap. And it just caused so much chaos because it's a different style and they're in your face a lot more. So if it's a completely different style they've ever seen for, it's going to be hard to adapt to that. And when you're a small team like Colgate is, you're going to say, hey, we don't care how you play. We're going to play our ball. And if they can play their game, then of course they can upset them.
Yeah. Philip, how about you?
I mean, those were great points. I'll go with Michael and the idea and the idea of the physicality of Arkansas. But I'll give this bold take. I think Colgate takes a big lead in this game, but Arkansas roars back with their physicality. This could turn out to be one of the most highest scoring and most entertaining games of the first round, though.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if Colgate can shoot like they have been doing, I really think Colgate will win this game. I know Arkansas is like one of the top teams to actually win the NCAA tournament. They're a big SEC powerhouse. But I just think Matt Langle's offense, Pendulum, by the way, Ethan, I think they really roar back. I think they really shoot the lights out this game. And I don't think Arkansas will know what's coming to them. I really think that this is going to be a really close game. And I think it should be a 50-50 coin toss. But
so we have the upset. So you and I, Ethan, have the upset. Not Ethan. Me and Ben have the upset.
But
you guys are wrong.
Yeah. Let's move on here because I don't think we have our interview yet. I don't think he's here.
No, I've got an email from him. He said he's going to be a little bit later. They're testing out the connection in the hotel and having some problems with connecting because he's got another interview at 9:00. So they're trying to get everything set up and having some difficulties right now.
Of course, he's had a busy day as well, so we completely understand. Let's move on to our key matchups from the bracket. Just while we're up, I think we got him into the room. So let's bring them in. Of course, Morehead State getting a NCAA tournament bid against West Virginia. Coach Preston Spradlin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Gabe, thanks, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. I just apologize a couple minutes late here. We literally just got checked in the hotel and had to go through all the protocols and everything coming off the selection show. So you guys will be the first people I've got a chance to talk to.
Of course. No worries, Coach. I just want to start with an opening question before we get into our panel. Of course, you have an NCAA tournament date against West Virginia. How confident are you feeling going into that game?
You know, we like the matchup. You know, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of really anyone this year who wasn't in the OVC. Haven't watched much West Virginia at all. Obviously got some familiarity with the way they play, the physicality that they play with, the intensity that they play with defensively, which is a lot of what we do as well. And so it's going to be a great matchup. Obviously, it's going to be a really physical game, which for us, we like that. I know they like it as well. So our guys were really excited about the matchup as well. But, you know, the great thing is we've got some time, obviously, not playing until Friday, whatever time they give us on that to, you know, dive in and really watch the Mountaineers and take a look at their last few games and, you know, figure out their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't care, I want to chime in. Hi, my name is Michael Preston. It's nice to talk to you and meet you for the first time ever. As you guys know, we go way back from college when he was draining the threes from deep. Purest shooter I've ever seen, greatest form. Even when he missed, it still looked good. Let me just tell you. But Preston, just hearing when you talk of this, now I hadn't even thought about this. I know I emailed you back and forth about what I want to talk to you, but with it being West Virginia and you spending your time with Kentucky and just under Calipari, and we know how Calipari and West Virginia in tournament 1 year, I think we blew them out by like 15, 20 points. Looked wonderful. Do you think that helps you prepare for this West Virginia style as well?
Yeah, you know, a little bit. That was so long ago. You know, we did play West Virginia a few times while I was there at Kentucky. I think year one they beat us in the Elite Eight, and they went to the Final Four. I think the following year we were able to get them in the second round. But you know, it may help a little bit. I'm sure once I start watching some film of what they're doing now, and then you know it'll probably jog my memory a little bit and you know, make me think of some of the things we may have emphasized back then with those Kentucky teams. But obviously our team's going to be very different than those Kentucky teams that I was a part of. And our game plan is probably going to be a little bit different as well.
Since Kentucky is at home sitting right now, you think you got Coach Cal about, hey, you know, what kind of scouts did you have on this? You know, what do you think we should try on this?
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, I'm always looking to pull advice from him. He's great for that, and obviously he's got a great track record, you know, against the press and all the things that make West Virginia, Coach Huggins' team really good. So I'm sure with the extra time that I've got, I'll definitely reach out to him over the next couple of days and kind of pick his brain on some points of emphasis to you know, pass along to the team.
Now, one thing I do like, and we were talking about this earlier, we were talking about some of the matchups. We were talking about Arkansas and whoever they were playing, Colgate, and I mentioned that they'll actually stick with their game plan against Arkansas as a smaller team. And if they play their style of ball, not worry and try to match up with Arkansas's game and get caught up in that. Is that something else that you're going to be kind of going in with this? Like, hey, we got here Morehead State playing Morehead State ball. This is what we got to focus ourselves on, not get caught up on what West Virginia's scheme is wanting us to do. Or are you taking, because I know one of the greatest things I ever realized in basketball was at Alice Lloyd College when you were playing. I was watching Gigi coach. It was actually against Pikeville College here. And one of the things they were doing is they were playing a 1-3-1 against us. And, you know, the obvious answer on that, 2 out, 1 in the middle, 2-1-2 basically, where you can just move the spacing around there. And coach never really changed to it. And I talked to him later afterwards, just in our small talk we had. It's like, you know, why didn't you do this? He said, well, man-to-man matchup against us would have been bigger to their advantage. So I wanted to take what we could in our offense and not really take too far advantage, because then they would switch their defensive scheme, which would have overall hurt us more. And I was like, well, you know, sometimes doing the best thing ain't always doing the best thing. So is that something that you ever worry about? Like, okay, we know they're going to be playing a 1-3-1 against us here too, probably a lot of zone. we know that we got the hot shooters here, but we need to kind of take advantage of certain situations that we can and not go full throttle because it could hurt later on different other scheme setups? Or am I just thinking way too complicated on that?
Yeah, I think you've probably given it more thought than I have, to be honest with you, at this point. No, I think the big thing that for us is you've got to play your game. Going back to the beginning of the question there, and for us, we play really physically. That's what we do. We led our league in 10 of 11 defensive statistical categories. We out rebounded our opponent. We got more free throw attempts, made more free throws than our team would attempt, and we rebounded nearly 40% of our misses. And so, obviously those things are going to be a little bit more difficult against a team that emphasizes a lot of the same things, and is probably a little bit bigger than some of the teams in the league. But I think anytime that we've won 19 out of 20, we're playing well. Our guys are playing confident, and I don't foresee us changing up the way we do things, changing our identity for any opponent. And I don't think that's necessarily a good strategy. I think you go with the one that got you there, and that's what we're going to continue to do, no matter who our opponent is, moving forward.
As you see, Ron Morton's chimed in here with us, another Alice Lloyd alumni. So back in the heyday of our era. Ryan, thank you for joining here on us. I'll pop it back up so everybody can see it there. You guys want to ask any other questions? Because I'll talk his head off just asking different questions. And I know y'all have had some stuff prepared, so I'll give y'all some time. Ask whatever y'all want to real quick.
Yeah. I have a question about your star freshman, Johnny Broom. It's kind of rare to see underclassmen being the star player of a smaller mid-major conference. What led you to recruiting him, and what led you to running the offense through him?
Janai is he's certainly not every year that you're going to have a freshman who can make the impact that he's made this year. Freshman of the year, first team All OVC, MVP of the OVC tournament. I think he was 10th in the country in double doubles this year. And, he's a guy we identified early in the recruiting process, and we loved his size. We loved his skill set. And, the big thing that really drew us to him was, his coachability and his toughness, because we knew, whatever things were missing as a high school player, which all high school players are, whether it's strength or whatever that may be. We just felt like his intangibles and his character would allow us to push him and coach him, and to get him to the next phase of his talent. And to his credit, he really stepped up the call, because we needed him to early on in his career this year. And I think the thing for Janai is he just continues to get better and better. He plays with confidence, which is great. You can't teach guys confidence. He's got a swagger. He's got a toughness. He's got a really good mind for the game. He thinks the game well and understands it. He's picked up on a lot of things. And, college basketball is so different from high school basketball, especially the way that we do things defensively, and even on the offensive set, a lot of sets and things like that. But, he proved early on that, he needed to get a lot of touches with his ability to score the ball and things like that. And so, I wouldn't say we changed a lot of what we were doing. We were going to kind of play that way, going into the season anyway, with him, our other big guy, LJ Bryan, and then our other big Tyjon Claude, who wasn't able to play this year due to a knee injury. So we like to play that way. I think the game should be played inside out, and when you've got really good big guys like we do, it just makes the game easier for them. It makes it easier for everybody else. But Janai is a special talent, and he's only scratching the surface on what he's going to be able to do.
For sure. I can't wait to watch you guys in the tournament.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, sir.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of times when coaches get done, they become analysts, and they usually look at the brackets and they say, okay, which team should have been in, should be in. My question for you would be, if you were on the committee, what would be your criteria for a team on the bubble? What would you be looking for exactly?
I think I would be a little biased if I were in that position. I just think, for me, 7 years being in the OVC, just seeing great players, great coaches, great teams come through here. And, it's difficult because we don't always get the respect at our level. that I feel like we should. You look at in our league this year, Belmont, who finished first, we finished second. They were ranked number 27th in the country going into the final week of the season, and then they lost 3 of their last 5, 2 of those to us. But they're a great team. I would, if you're asking coaches out there who made the field, hey, would you like for us to replace your opponent with Belmont? I don't think any of them would be raising their hand to volunteer for that because they're very good. And so, I think sometimes the net rankings and things like that, it's always a moving target, right? And there's always a starting point at the beginning of the year, just based on projections, and it's really hard to shake that as the season goes on. But I think you gotta show respect to the teams that they play the schedule that they've got, and they beat the teams that are on their schedule. And I'd like to see a little bit more, emphasis get put to those teams that do take care of business of the teams that are on their schedule, as opposed to some of them that maybe get a lot of credit just for playing a difficult schedule.
Yeah, I do have another question. Yeah, I do have another question about, Selection Sunday. It's a dream for all coaches to be watching that monitor during March Madness to see where you go. And believe me, for a mid-major team, that's no exception. What was the overall vibe like for Selection Sunday and, watching the monitor?
It was really cool. It was obviously very different. You'd always dreamed of that moment. For me, being in our arena with our fans and my family being there and things like that. So obviously, due to COVID, we couldn't do it that way. So we did a Facebook Live type deal with all of our fans and everything. So we were actually in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The NCAA had put us up there. Huge private room, 4 stories up over top the track. It was really cool. Had a catered meal up there. Had tons of TV screens and everything, and CBS camera crew was in there to watch us, which was neat. And obviously, guys are spaced out, to keep everything safe and follow the protocols. But it was really neat, just watching the show. You're anxious every time they start to talk about seeds that you might be close to, that 13, 14 range or even 12. And so, our guys, a couple times, opponent would come up, somebody that they may have thought that we were going to play, and then somebody else got a chance to play him. So there was a little bit of, stuff like that. But it was a really great moment when West Virginia came up. We kind of felt like at that point we'd figured out that's who we were going to play. And obviously everybody's jumping up, excited. And, for us, our guys are excited too, just because of our mentality, how we like to play. We're built on toughness and togetherness, and so is West Virginia. So it's going to be a great test for us here in the NCAA tournament.
Who did you guys want to play? Or obviously everyone had their own opinions on that, but who was probably the most team that you all thought, hey, this might be a good matchup for us?
I really didn't put any stock into it, to be honest with you. I know our players, one of our guys, he's KJ Hunt, our starting point guard. He's from Arkansas, so he really wanted a chance to play Arkansas. That was one. But really, there wasn't anybody. I think our guys were just excited. It didn't really matter. It's funny, I think it was about Wednesday, I walked into study hall and one of our guys was in there and he said, "Coach, you heard we're playing Texas?" I said, "What are you talking about? We're not playing Texas." He said, "Yeah, I saw it on the bracketology stuff." I said, "That's not real, right? Texas still playing like 2 more games, 3 more games, whatever." I said, that's just a guess at this moment. So, don't put any stock into that. But it's been fun for those guys to kind of see and have an idea of who we would play. I think they've kind of narrowed it down to maybe the 6, 7 teams that we could potentially play. And West Virginia was one of them.
I have a follow-up question. Now, your school is mid-major, of course. Would you like to see more mid-majors in the tournament to get a chance to knock off some of those big dogs? Because we don't have Duke or Kentucky in the tournament this year, and North Carolina has their highest seed. I'm sorry, Michael. North Carolina has their highest seed in a long time. Would you like to see more of those mid-majors get that opportunity? Maybe if they win the regular season and don't necessarily win their conference tournament, you get 2 of those teams in from the same conference. Would you like to see that more? Because I would. I like the little guy. I love it.
I would like to see that. This is, you have years where, a Power 5 conference, they finish at 19 wins in a normal season or something like that. And because their conference play is so difficult, they kind of get rewarded. And flip side of that is you may have teams from our league that, finish with 27, 28 wins and get knocked out in the tournament and don't make it. So I would like to see that. I would definitely like to see more mid majors get the opportunity to do that, but it's difficult, when you're at the level that we are. Sometimes teams don't want to play in the non-conference, and it makes it really difficult to get your quad 1, quad 2 wins up there. And then the other part is you just can't control everyone else's schedule, and that's something that goes into the calculations. The teams that we are going to play in our league, because you're going to have to play teams in your league obviously multiple times this year. 20, you can't control what their non-conference schedules are. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult to increase your net and all those things that they take into account on Selection Sunday.
Well, I want to ask a quick question. I'm going to see if I can pull this off and it be kind of smooth here. I want to know, where does he get his moves from here?
Yeah, man. How about that? That guy. Superstar right there. I tell you what, we took him to school this week. He said his teacher asked for his autograph and everything. But I think he gets those from me. I'll take that. We have a lot of fun, man.
Okay.
Whether it's at home or at the gym, whatever it is, we like to have a lot of fun. So dance parties at my house with my wife, my son, my daughter. Those are not uncommon that we do that pretty often.
Well, good. And I know I love that y'all are such a close family still, too. I see Misty at most of the games having some kind of picture up there of your kids doing something with them. So it's wonderful to see that you still have that connection going. I know, obviously, it should be a connection still, but, sometimes just busy life in the college life, it's hard for a family to be able to be at all the games, and they're able to do that. It's wonderful to see that. All families should be mimicking how you all are as a father and a mother as well, stuff that we see. So I'm thankful for that too. I started to have my son come in here and see if I could video him dancing, but he gets his skills from his mom. Let me just say that he's not a very good dancer. So, Philip, do you got any questions for him?
Yeah, sir. So how do you plan on preparing for West Virginia's pressure? And I know you run your offense through Janai Broom. But West Virginia is exceptionally well at defending the bigs down low.
Sure. Yeah. Some of it, again, we're going to have to kind of dive into it. But I think some teams that we've played this year in our league, the way that they play will prepare us for West Virginia. Austin P in our league, very similar. They're going to get up. They're going to pressure the ball. They're going to deny all your wing entry passes. They're going to make it difficult to run your offense, run your sets, to get guys like Janai the ball where you'd like to. And then, Eastern Kentucky, who we played 3 times, we just played them the last week in the tournament, very similar with the full court pressure, making it difficult, making you play with a short clock in the half court. And so, our mindset is, against the press, we want to break it for points. If you want to pressure full court, we want to break it for points. But at the same time, we want to be disciplined enough not to take what we call tough shot turnovers on the backside of the press, because that's what teams that press want to make you do. They want to make you play a little bit faster. They want to make you take shots that you're not used to taking, so that they can force you into tough ones and go down the other end and try to score it. And so we got to be disciplined enough not to do that. But I do think that our team is going to draw some confidence and some teaching points from the games that we played. 3 against Eastern Kentucky and 1 against Austin P this year, where we've had success. But that's a big thing, right? You got to spend a lot of time this week working on making sure that you're sprinting your cuts, you're driving the ball to the middle of the floor, you're meeting passes, you're stepping across physical defenders to get open, and you're being really efficient with your execution when you get a chance to run your offense, because they're going to blow it up if you're being soft offensively.
Anyone else? Ben, I see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one final question about, the bubble and all. I mean, we saw with the NBA bubble earlier in the year that it can be a tough life living in the bubble, being constantly tested and, constantly being in the hotel room. How are you mentally preparing to, go into that bubble?
Yeah, I think the big thing for us is we started a couple weeks ago. Our administration did a great job of saying, hey, this is what things are going to look like at the OVC tournament, and then you get the opportunity to go to NCAA. This is what it's going to be. So we've done a lot of things over the past few weeks to prepare our guys for the adjustment that it was going to be, just so that when you got into the bubble, as you mentioned, it's not a shock as to how you handle everything. I think for right now, guys being in different rooms or individual rooms is probably going to be the biggest change, just because they spend a lot of time with each other. Obviously you want to spend a lot of time with each other as a team, which you can't do the first couple of days that you're here as much. But even time with their roommates is important. And so I think it'll be a good day for our guys, number one, to rest up a little bit, which is important. Number two, maybe get caught up on some schoolwork. And then when we do get the opportunity to get back together as a team tomorrow and practice, it's going to make the guys really look forward to getting out of the rooms every day, getting on the court, practicing, and being together. It's going to be a real release and a relief to be on the court and get to do that once a day, once we're out, once we get going in that here in the bubble.
Well, anyone else got any other questions? I know Coach Tom is very okay.
For me, just one final question. Assuming you guys beat West Virginia, the next team you would play would either be San Diego State or Syracuse. Do you have a preference for which one of those two you'd rather play?
No, you know what? Again, I hadn't watched a lot of either one of those teams. I got a lot of respect for San Diego State. I know they had a historic season last year that got cut short due to COVID, and so I'm sure they're hungry for the opportunity to be back into March Madness. And I know they're a really good team. Again, I haven't watched them, especially being on the West Coast. And then we actually played Syracuse 2 years ago and played a really good game against a really good Syracuse team. Obviously, they're going to play their zone. They have great length and athleticism across the board, and we've been a good zone team this year. We shoot it well, but the big thing for us is we're going to win the battle of the paint. That's what we're going to try to do every game, whether we're seeing zone or man. And so preference, I don't really have one, to be honest with you, but we'd certainly be excited and we'd welcome the challenge against either one of those teams should we go beat West Virginia on Friday.
Amber, do you have a final question?
No, I'm done. I just thank him for his time. Busy day for him, I know.
Thank you.
As Amber said, we definitely want to thank you for taking time out of your day out of this busy schedule. Of course, March, can be madness. That's why I call it March Madness. But we want to thank you, Coach, for hopping on the show, and best of luck in the NCAA tournament against West Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys, for having me on here, and I hope you'll be watching and enjoy March Madness. Obviously, it's been 2 years since we've had an NCAA tournament. It's a blessing to be a part of it this year, so we're really excited for the opportunity.
I'm picking the upset, okay? I'm going to put you down in my bracket. Win me some money here, okay?
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'll put you down in a couple of my 50.
There you go.
There we go.
Shout out to the
best luck to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on here, man. Taking time with us.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck.
All right, we're approaching an hour here on this stream. I want to go to a few comments before we move on, because I think we have some cool comments. Let's take a look at this one first. Utah State, one of the controversial teams to be in the tournament. Do you think they deserve to be in the tournament?
I think that they played a hell of a season and that they have the opportunity of a lifetime in upsetting Texas Tech. I'm going to say that they do deserve it, but I could see where one would argue Louisville deserved it more. What about you guys?
I agree with you. Here's the thing. When it comes to selection, I mean, there's always going to be the teams that are not supposed to be in there that get in there somehow, or teams that should have been in there that don't. When it comes to this, I just think, this is what they chose. Let's just go with it. So many times in the past years with Kentucky been so good, I'd be always like, why is Duke ahead of us? They shouldn't have been ranked ahead of us. But, it doesn't matter. If you're going to be the champions, you got to go through the best teams anyways. It's like when Coach was saying, as far as his matchups from the next week, he doesn't really have a preference. But at the same time, they're playing their game. That's how I kind of feel like in this, just go with your game and go on with it. Utah, if they shouldn't have been in here, prove us wrong. Is basically how I want to say it, I guess. if it's a bubble for the nation to think, hey, this team may or may not have been in there, just go out there and win like 3 or 4 games and be like, yes, we deserve to be in here and prove us all wrong.
And their best player, I believe his name is pronounced Neemias Queta, will have to go head-to-head against Mac McClung's Texas Tech Red Raiders. So I got to go with Texas Tech in this one. What about y'all?
I like the defense for Texas Tech, so I'll go Texas Tech too.
Yeah, I was also surprised by Utah State being in the tournament. I'll also go with Texas Tech, but Neemias Queta, I watched a couple Utah State games, a little bit of some highlights, but Queta, he is a monster down low, so Texas Tech better watch out for him.
I like the Texas Tech, but again, like we said, with the Utah, I want to see them prove.
Definitely, that is a marquee matchup. Let's move on to Wise Cheese in the comment. Of course, we got Matt Scora. Michigan State Spartans could be a Cinderella team that could make the Elite Eight if they beat UCLA. Yay or nay?
It's possible. It's possible because there's a reason why they were ranked so high to begin the season.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very possible. And you have to think about like this, guys. They said once the tournament starts, if a team gets COVID, they're not going to replace the team. They're just going to let the tournament roll on. So you might see some games or some teams maybe test positive. I don't see how that happens when you're inside of a NCAA bubble, but stranger things have happened. So they might get lucky and things might go their way to where they can reach that Elite Eight. I just think it's going to be very difficult, but it can happen. There's a reason why they were ranked in the top 5 at the beginning of the season. So it's possible, very possible.
And looking at their path, they have to go past UCLA, who's dropped their past 4 or 5 games, and then they got to go play a tough BYU team, who I think they'll beat. Then they either got to go play Texas or ACU, probably Texas, and then if they somehow beat them, you got either Maryland or UConn playing Alabama. I think UConn wins both of those. I think UConn could definitely beat Michigan State.
Definitely. Philip, what do you think?
Any team has a chance to be a Cinderella story. Michigan State certainly has the, attitude to sort of prove it, that we are actually this good. Like Ethan said, they could most certainly beat BYU. I don't see how they get past Texas. I think Texas is one of the best teams in the country. It's all about consistency in the shooting department for Michigan State, and I just don't trust that enough.
Yeah. Michael, anything?
I agree with everything. Again, Izzo, what we've said earlier, it's kind of hard to go against him on anything. His defense-minded team first, it's going to be help them calm their nerves in the beginning. First game against UCLA, but their offense struggles. It's kind of hard to go deep without an offense, but a defense can help you some. So I do think it could be a Cinderella team that makes a good push. It's kind of funny if they do a push and we call them a Cinderella when they get so far, we're gonna be like, well, it's not really a Cinderella. We predicted this at the beginning, but yeah, I could see them easily making a good run.
All right, let's go to our final comment that I found is especially interesting. Let's go. Oregon is going to take out Kansas. This is certainly a hot take, and I want to go to Amber first on this. What do you think of this take?
Kansas hasn't been consistent all year long, so I would not be surprised if it happened. Do I trust Bill Self? Yes. Do I like Oregon's length on the perimeter and on the back end? Yes. Do I trust Kansas' shooting? Not so much. I can see this happening. I can see this happening. You guys know I watch a lot of Big 12 basketball. The inconsistent Kansas team is not what you normally see from Bill Self. Them getting a number 3 seed is very shocking to me. I don't want to pick against Bill Self, and I really want to pick Oregon. I really do for this upset. But it will be a close game, but it would not shock me if Kansas drops the ball in this first round matchup. It would not, because of the inconsistencies they've had all season long.
All right, now I'm kind of curious with this comment. this means they both need to make it to the Sweet 16. I think Kansas could definitely do it, but I like USC more than Kansas this year. I have VCU taking out Oregon in the first round. So even if Iowa beats Grand Canyon, they got to go play Oregon. If Oregon wins, Iowa will kill Oregon. Ucla Garza's too good. Hate saying that because I don't want Garrett to be happy with me saying that. But
Shout out to Garrett from Iowa. Philip, what do you think?
I mean, Ethan just mentioned the key to it. Oregon would have to go past VCU and then Iowa. I don't know. VCU is a tough matchup. Let's just say they move on. Like Ethan said, how are they going to handle Ucla Garza? That's the way I don't see Oregon taking out Kansas because I don't even think they get to that point.
Yeah, Michael, do you want to add anything onto that?
I'm just going to say this. I have so much faith in Kansas and the Oregon teams. I could see neither one of them even being in that matchup where they would be at. I mean, you got a couple of good teams in there. I mean, Iowa obviously is a great team. I don't see them losing to VCU or Oregon. Kansas, like you all said earlier, might not even lose in the first round, but I could see Southern California beating Kansas in the second round. I could see either one of those not even being in that Sweet 16 round.
Evan Mobley, Pac-12 Player of the Year.
That's right.
they have the best brothers since Caleb and Cody Martin.
There you go.
Definitely. Let's go over some key matchups as we hit an hour here. I want to hear your key matchup for the NCAA tournament. This could be any game in the bracket that you are just going to sit down, grab a bowl of popcorn or whatever food you want, and watch that game end to end. Like the one that you're willing to looking forward to watching the most. And I'll start. I like Arkansas and Colgate. I mean, this is going to be a high-scoring shootout, in my opinion. And it's going to be an entertaining game, back and forth to watch. A lot of three-pointers made. It's also, of course, Arkansas is going to be physical inside the paint. This is just going to be a high-intensity game of basketball. But, Ethan, what do you have for your most looked-forward game?
I hate that you said just one that I would watch only because you've seen my setup. I got 2 TVs. I'm planning on having my computer and iPad. I'm taking everything. I'm watching all games. I'm going to have my bracket set up so I can scream when my team loses. But I really like the Iowa Grand Canyon game. Something's really telling me that Garrett's going to be crying his eyes out that night. I think
Wow.
Canyon's going to win.
Uh-oh. That's a good one. I'll go San Diego State and Syracuse. I just think that's going to be a great game. Syracuse had a heartbreaker against Virginia, in the ACC tournament. So I want to see the battle of San Diego State and Syracuse.
I mean,
I want to watch. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I want to watch, and it's a higher ranking game, but it's the 8 and 9 seed. I want to watch this Oklahoma and Missouri game. I feel like that game's going to be a good game, and I also think the winner of that game can put out Gonzaga. So that's why I'm interested in watching. I don't know if it'll be a super close game. I just have no faith in Gonzaga. I'll flat out tell you. I mean, until you can prove you can do it, I'm not going to bet on you. You know, yes, they've went so many years that they've been top seed so many times, but they don't do anything when it comes to playoffs. I mean, they make a little bit of a run, but until they can prove it to me, I'm not going to do anything with that.
Michael, I'm going to say one thing about this, about OU and why they can't beat Gonzaga. They can't rebound the basketball. Period.
Well, that's why Missouri's going to win it.
They can't rebound the basketball. So if they do beat Missouri and get to Gonzaga, Gonzaga has so much height down low. It would be very difficult for them to rebound the basketball against Gonzaga.
This ain't so much bracket talk right here, but to me, if Gonzaga is going to be a top-tier team like this year in, year out, they needed a new conference. That's just my opinion. I feel like their conference is weak. It's just if they have an undefeated season so much, they need to start challenging themselves more as a team.
But one could argue that they could do the exact same in the Pac-12 since the Pac-12 is a very weak conference.
Well, let me just drink my haterade and let's go on.
He's a hater. Be a Gonzaga hater. I like Mark Few. I like Mark Few. I do. I like Mark Few.
I've never liked Gonzaga. Never.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Philip, did you get your game in yet?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go to another 8v9 game. Loyola versus Georgia Tech. I've been saying this. This is going to be a great game. I really think it goes down to the wire. You've got the ACC winners versus one of the best defenses in the country. And, you've always got that magic with Loyola. So let's just say they win. I mean, I think Illinois wins the tournament, but there could be some magic from Loyola coming against Illinois potentially later on.
Definitely. All great points there. Let's move on to our upset picks. So what I'll start with our upset picks. Just pick a team that's going to have an upset in the tournament. I know I'm going to probably steal Ethan Carboni's pick with this one, but I'm going with Winthrop over Villanova. I mean, Colin Gillespie out with that injury is devastating. The Archbishop Wood point guard has been a force factor for Villanova for years, and Winthrop is a hot team right now. You do not want to be messing with them. And I think that Villanova will be out first round of the tournament this year. But anyone can go.
All right, since you stole mine, I'm gonna go with my one that I was gonna choose. I gotta go Rutgers with Ryan Harper Jr. over Clemson. Not a huge upset, but 10-7. I definitely think Rutgers can get it done. Clemson has shown that they're very streaky throughout the year, so is Rutgers. But when Rutgers stars play the way that they're supposed to, they win.
I don't think it's an upset because this team is hot. I'm gonna go with Georgetown over Colorado.
You stole mine, you little turd.
I had an upset. I picked the upset pick earlier in the broadcast as well, but
I'm sorry. I've got another one. I've got another.
You sure? I can get another one.
Yeah.
I can give another one. You sure? Okay.
I've got Morehead State. Morehead State with the upset, guys. Where y'all at?
Okay, Morehead State over West Virginia. Okay.
Definitely great upset picks. Just to round out the show before we go to sponsors and plugs, let's go with the biggest take of the night. Let's put it up on the screen. NCAA picks. Now, we just need to pick one team to win it all. And I'm going to make Ethan Carboni very happy with this pick. I'm going with the Illinois Illini. They look so strong, as much as I don't want to admit it to Ethan. They look like it's such a strong team this year. I mean, they let Ohio State in it for a little bit, but they are a force. I mean, Kofi Coburn, the Dasamu guy, they are just a really powerful team. And I mean, win the Big Ten title this year is so impressive because you had 9 Big Ten teams in the tournament, and to become the victor in one of them, I just can't stray upon Illinois. I'm sure I stole your and Phil's picks, but go ahead, Ethan.
First off, why do you pronounce the best player in the country's name wrong? Dasamu.
I don't know.
Illinois, the entire thing. We're winning 6 straight. Give me the Fighting Illini over Baylor, over someone. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's just them.
Yeah,
Phil, who you got?
Give me Illinois. Give me the big in Coburn. Give me the best point guard in the country in AO. And then give me one of the best bench players in Andre Curbelo.
Well, give me Illinois, and I'll give it back to you because I'm going with Baylor. Listen, I'm not going to be with you 3 up there. I'm going with Baylor. Y'all got on here before we started talking. It's like, hey, guys, Illinois is looking good. Ooh, I think they are, aren't they? Y'all drunk the Kool-Aid up there. It's going to be Baylor's year. Nail it down.
I'll go with Baylor. Those guards defend the best in the country. They got the best defensive guards in the country, wings in the country. I'll go with Baylor. Sick 'em Bears.
There we go.
Definitely, and I am the only Illinois picker that is not or biased. So that rounds out. I'm just saying I picked Illinois because I think Illinois is going to win, Michael.
Okay.
I think Baylor's going to win because 2 losses all year. I mean, I could go on and on about Baylor because they're a Big 12 team, but
even looking at the bracket,
they're a Big 12 team, and I like Illinois' tandem too. But can't Kofi stay out of foul trouble?
Yeah, that's the big question for him.
Can he stay out of foul trouble? And can he knock down free throws? Stay out of foul trouble, knock down free throws. He did knock down free throws down the stretch in the Big Ten title game. I'm happy for that. But can he stay out of foul trouble? Because when he gets in foul trouble, he starts to play a little sloppy. He doesn't finish around the rim as well as he should when he gets in foul trouble because he's scared to pick up that offensive foul because he's so massive. Oh my goodness, he's so massive. But I'm happy he came back to play another season at Illinois. I know he was thinking about going to the league. I did a project piece on him for 15 minutes last year on Sportscaster, so I know a lot about Kofi. So if he can stay out of foul trouble, I can see Illinois taking it all. I just like Baylor in the run they were on last year. It kind of transitioned into this year because I thought they had a great chance last year to win it. Of course, and then COVID happened, but they went on a good run, one of the best conferences, the Big Ten and the Big 12, two best conferences in college basketball this season. So it'll be interesting if they meet each other in that Final Four matchup. That'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, Ethan, do you want to respond to the Kofi comment by Amber?
I 100% agree with you. I'm going to sound like a biased fan, but out of the 4 fouls Kofi had today, one of them was actually a foul. The other 3 was the refs just calling crap. The Big Ten refs are terrible. I will forever stand by that. Any game I watch.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from everyone before we go to sponsors and plugs?
This may be the most depressing March Madness I've ever got to watch.
Why?
That's my final thought. Because Kentucky's not in it.
Oh, that's right. The Blue Blood is in
It's March Madness.
This
Sorry,
is the
Blue
first
Blood.
time since 1975 that Kentucky nor Duke have been in the tournament. That's a long era, guys. I'm old, and I miss my Kentucky team already.
Yeah. I guess the final thought for me is that congratulations to all the teams going to the NCAA tournament. I know Kentucky didn't make it, Michael, but at least your team had a season. Mine did not. Go Quakers. But anyway, let's go to sponsors. Of course, gamble at mybookie.com, use code USN100 to double your first deposit, and check out rxhemp.com and use code rxhemp-USN to save 10% off your order. Our partner is Unwrapped Sports. Check out their partner podcast, their shop, which is in their Twitter bio, and of course, check out their Patreon. $1 to become a fan, $5 to join a countrywide Discord sports chat that is private only to the $5 and $10 members. And of course, the $10 VIP membership, you will have a chance at a signed jersey giveaway. That's every month. You will be included if you pay the $10. And of course, all the stuff in the $5 membership. So I'll start off with plugs. I'm Ben Hoyt. Check me out on my Twitter at BenHoyt6. I also am the co-host of Creating Madness with one of our panelists on this show, Ethan Carboni. We are a college basketball podcast. We had a bunch of interviews. It's up on Spotify. We'll have some episodes in the future. You don't want to miss it. March Madness is coming up. I'll toss it to Ethan, my other co-host, and of course, a co-host to Phil.
Oh yeah, check me out, Ethan Carboni03 on Twitter, and also make sure check out Creating Madness every Wednesday night, and check out NFL Deep Dive every Tuesday and Thursday.
I've been check me out on FW_6204 on Twitter. I'm the co-host with Ethan on NFL Deep Dive. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday around 4:30 to 5.
Go ahead, Amber.
Oh, okay.
Ladies first.
Oh, why? Thank you. That's a show I have with Unwrapped Sports Network, by the way. But check me out on Twitter at simplyme_AV. Everything is in the bio before Michael grabs his notebook and makes fun of me for having all these shows.
I need a scroll where I can just pull it down for you. That would be better. But my name is Michael, and you can follow me on Twitter at MDLawson00. You can actually follow me on just about any kind of social media with that, MDLawson00. But if you want to follow me on Sports, the bottom half there by my TikTok, it is a sports TikTok, basically. It's MDLawson00 USN, and you can actually put into the search bar USN, and you'll find everyone that's associated with the Unwrapped Sports Network that has created an account. Hopefully you guys have all created one. But it's just a fun time where you can give your battles your little bit about what you think is going to go on, and then people can actually share a video back with you, and you kind of just battle back and forth, an argument basically. It's like a debate. It's a lot of fun. But also Thursday, 10:30 Eastern Time p.m., I'll co-host the Backstop Banter. It's a flagship show for our baseball department. Huge show coming up in the next 2 weeks. This Thursday, we're having a guest, Ncaa Johnson. He is a former catcher for the Angels minor league team. Now he's set up to where he actually takes in catchers and tries to help critique their techniques and help them be more prepared for the MLB. And also Dalton Courtnett, who is also an Alice Loyola alum who knows Preston as well, is going to be on there. He actually went to Mr. Johnson, and that's how we got our connection going on there. And then the week after that, we're actually having a big panel where we just kick off baseball because it's the week right before the opening day, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no. The one thing I forgot to plug is that we had a bunch of interviews. We had Connor Enright commit for Drake. We're gonna have a bunch of interviews in the offseason. Gus Lawson was our last interview, committed to the University of Pennsylvania, my fave. So yeah, check us out on Spotify as well. And of course, check out, like Michael mentioned, Sports Me. It's like sports TikTok. It's actually kind of cool. You get to post battles, and give points to the take you like the most. Type in USN for anyone on SportsMe. You can check out all the Unwrapped Sports Network providers on SportsMe. But that is it for us. Enjoy March Madness, everyone. This was our Selection Sunday special. We'll have more college basketball content coming up, coming in March. It's madness. It's March Madness. Thank you from everyone at Unwrapped. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Go Morehead State.